Recep Tayyip Erdogan has returned to power. He serenaded a massive gathering outside his residence with his off-key singing after he won the Turkey presidential elections. As the runoff result was announced, the streets of the capital of Turkey, Ankara, were a kaleidoscope of Turkish flags, of blaring car horns and cheering Erdogan supporters. Erdogan has defeated his opponent and returned to office for a third term, a record of 20-plus years as president. With almost all of the votes counted, Erdogan received over 50% of votes in the second round of elections. In his victory speech, Erdogan addressed massive inflation rates in the country. He said, and I quote, "The most urgent issue is to eliminate the problems arising from the price increases caused by inflation and to compensate for welfare losses." Despite the loss, however, his opponent is yet to resign, although calls for him to do so will now increasingly go up. It is important to know that experts have called the month-long campaign in Turkey as one of the most bitterly fought election campaigns in the country's recent history.
Tayyip Erdogan is staying on as president of Turkey after winning the runoff presidential election on Sunday with just over 52% of the vote. It was seen as the toughest political challenge yet to his increasingly authoritarian rule, now set to enter its third decade. Speaking to supporters outside his home in Istanbul before the final results were released, he said, "Turkey is the only winner today." Thousands of jubilant Erdogan supporters celebrated in Turkey's streets.
"We are very happy. We think Erdogan deserved to win. That was what had to happen. There couldn't have been another leader in this country."
Russian President Vladimir Putin congratulated his, quote, "dear friend" on his victory. The election was seen as one of the most consequential yet for Turkey. The opposition believed it had a strong chance of unseating Erdogan after his popularity was hit by a cost-of-living crisis. Challenger Kemal Kilicdaroglu called it the most unfair election in years, but did not dispute the outcome. Erdogan, who is the head of the Islamist-rooted AK party, appealed to voters with nationalist and conservative rhetoric. His record includes having redrawn domestic, economic, security, and foreign policy in the NATO member country of 85 million people. The prospect of 5 more years of his rule is a major blow to opponents who accuse him of undermining democracy as he has amassed even more power, a charge he denies.
It has been calculated that Mr. Recep Tayyip received 52.14% of all the votes and Mr. Kemal received 47.86%. It has been determined that the results will not change even if the 809,000, the 0.20% of the votes which have not been entered into the system yet, go to one of the candidates as a whole. As a result of the initial results, we confirm that Mr. Recep was elected as the President of the Republic of Turkey.
Now we have a real resentful youth. I look at the people around me who were supporting the opposition and all of them are resentful. We forgot about the spring in this country. We have to make our own spring because the people seem to be happy with winter. There's nothing to do. I think it was an unjust election because the country is in a bad situation. I pray to God that He is going to be good for everyone. We had a different candidate in our hearts, someone who could really lead this country, but it didn't work out. Let's hope for the best.